Hi, and welcome to this presentation about the Genius CRM and ERP integrated CRM. Today we're going to cover the main features of Genius CRM, but also how it integrates with Genius ERP. So first, for the main features, Genius CRM has pretty much all the features that a standard CRM would have. So those features mostly includes the ones shown here. So I'm just gonna cover them quickly, and then we're gonna see them in the application. So how it translates in Genius CRM. In Genius CRM, we're able to manage the different workflows between contacts, leads, accounts, and opportunities. Also, we can have attachments features, conversations. We can manage tasks and calendars as well. For managers, we have a dashboard feature or a dashboard management where we can have some sales monitoring. We can have personalized or customized dashboards and reports. Also, pretty much all of the Genius CRM interface is customizable. Every dashboard, every layout, every fields that are displayed in the different forms you will find in CRM will be customizable for your needs. And same thing for the different workflows. So for the different contacts or opportunities, status or workflows, and so on. So they are customizable. And we also have basic marketing features such as email campaign. So first, let's talk about the different contacts, leads, accounts, and opportunities, forms, and features that we have in CRM. So let's go into CRM to see how it is displayed. So I'll log in as a sales representative. So Bob here is a salesman from the West Coast team, and so this is a basic dashboard that we have for those salesmen. Dashboard can be customized, and we're going to cover that a bit later in the dashboard part of the presentation. So you see here the different modules that are available to him. So we have the homepage, the inbox where we're going to see the conversation, and where we're going to also see when there's an email that is attached to a contact in the CRM. We're going to cover that a bit later. But what we want to talk about now is the different contacts, leads, accounts, and opportunities that we can have in Genius CRM. How do we create them, and what is the workflow between all of them? So basically what it does is it allows you to first enter or create new contacts or leads. So if you came back from a demonstration, a show, you have gathered a lot of contacts. So you're able here to create either leads or contacts in the CRM so that you can move them forward into the sales pipeline. So here, Bob is a brand new in the CRM, so it doesn't have leads. There's a few contacts here. They're pretty much on the same level, but the difference is that for leads, we have a specific feature where we can convert it to an account. So let's create a lead for Bob. So we have this first lead that we want to create. We see that we have a relatively large amount of fields that we can have and to which we can enter a value so that we can have a bit more information about our lead or our contact. Same thing for accounts and opportunities. All of those fields are reference fields, and new fields can be added as well if you want to have a bit more specific information that you want to attach to your leads or contact. Let's say, for example, that my contact is, for example, Matthew Brown. Then we have one of the mandatory fields that we have. So there's a status field where we can specify what is the state of this contact or lead. This field can be personalized, so you can enter your own choices and users will select among them. So in my case, this is a brand new contact as a job that could be the president of some kind of company. So here, for example, pipeline company. So we can enter a bit more information. I'm gonna just file up some some new ones, and that's it. So we can fill pretty much everything we want in the form. This information will be carried through the CRM, so nothing will be lost. Also, when we create contact leads or when we create items in Genius CRM, we have the rights and permission section where who is the owner of the item that is being created. So here the owner is pretty much always the user that is creating it. But who can read or write this information? That's where we can specify that manually we can specify which users or groups can see the item. In our case, the default value for this user has been set to the owner and users in the Sales Manager West Coast group. Bob, my user, and users in this group, such as my manager, Bob's manager, will be able to see this record. I could manually change it to only Bob or everyone. But in my case, since I want my manager to be able to see my records and, well, my team's records, I'll specify this value as a default one. So my manager will be able to see the information from this group only and won't be able to see East Coast values or records, for example. So I save this lead. So now we have a lead. What we can do afterwards is if you want to move this lead through the pipelines, the lead can be converted to an account or associated to a current account. We can use the convert feature here that will bring you or convert this lead into an account. So we want to convert it because this lead has become more important. Here in the conversion feature, we can select an existing account to assign this lead to an existing one. But in our case, we want to create the account. So we want to create let's say the customer in Genius CRM. So we need to specify what is the account name that will be used. In our case, in the case of Genius CRM, we will use the company name set in Matthew Brown record. So if we complete the conversion, we will create this account, and then this contact has been converted as well into this lead has been converted into a contact. So in the contact module, we'll gather every account or every leads and every contact that's been created by my user. And then leads will mostly be chances that I have to convert those customers into accounts. So this lead has been converted into a contact so that it's now in my contact library, but also an account has been created for this contact. So we see here the pipeline company where we have the same item layout. So we have the same record layout as contacts. If we want to edit this account to add more information to this record, we just have to access to the edit screen where we can add a lot more information about the account. So that's where we will find and fill the different information that will be important to know and to track when having accounts in the CRM. So we have a few Genius fields here that I'm going to cover a bit later in the presentation. But we can also have those default fields where we can fill the different industries information, the number of employee, annual revenue, the type of account. So is that a prospect? In my case, that is a prospect. Is there a website? So we can fill a lot of information that will be important later to remind us what is this customer about and where were we in terms of conversion and communication. We can also set a shipping address and a billing address, but we can also add custom fields in this form. Same thing as for leads, contacts, and opportunities. So if you need more information, it's not a problem. So I'm gonna fill that customer. So first Genius customer, just for the record. we'll specify that this is from a pipeline company. So this is a pipeline industry that we have in our customers. So I'll say pipeline 001. We have a maximum length for the Genius customer code because this will be used by Genius afterwards. So, and there's a limitation in Genius ERP for customer codes. Genius customer group, we need to specify a group. So in my case, I will use the Genius CAD big customer group. I'm going to explain that a bit later when covering the integration with Genius ERP. Now we have the customer name, and then we can move forward. So we can enter a bit more information. For example, 150 employee, annual revenue, let's say I don't know it. Shipping address, it can be, for example, this address that I've already entered, and then I can save. So my account is now filled with the basic information that I need and that I know about this account. The next step is to try to sell to this account. So when we try to sell and when we want to make offers to accounts, so what we want to do afterwards is to create opportunities. So when we know that we have some chance to sell some services or product to a specific customer, we create opportunities to which we will assign accounts to them. So that's how we're going to track how it relates to the different accounts and contacts, and that's how we'll be able to drill down the different opportunities. So when creating the opportunity, we enter basic information in terms of what is the product or service we want to sell, and what is the amount, basically. So for example, pipeline maintenance service, to which we will assign for example, $150,000 value. So we want to sell this customer a service plan or a maintenance service for this specific value. And we want to use our pipeline customers. So I can find it through the file here. And so I can specify an account from here, or I can link the opportunity through the account record where I was just before. It's not an issue. Genius quote number will be seen a bit later. Close date, let's say I have a month. I give myself a month to sell this opportunity. And then I have the stage and probability fields that works a bit together. So stages will be pretty much the different steps I have, and that can be customized, but the different steps I have to define where is the opportunity in terms of sales process, sales pipeline, but also what are probability to convert this opportunity into a sale. And so those probability will be useful to forecast what could be the sales for the next month or the next year, based on what are the chances to win the different opportunities that we have. So in the CRM, we can assign specific default probability value for the different stages that we have. So prospecting, we have a few chance because they're nothing sure, compared to negotiating where we have a bit more chance. So let's say this one is as a qualification. All right, and then we can save. So that was it for how Genius CRM manages contacts, leads, accounts, and opportunities. Now let's see how it manages attachments, conversations, tasks, and calendars. So first, for attachments, you can attach pretty much any files to any items that is in the Genius CRM. So for example, if I take this opportunity, I can add any notes I would need to, but I can also add files. So to those files, I can set or I can define specific accounts, leads or contacts, opportunity, etc. And I can again manage the read and write permissions for this file. This plugin that is called a portlet in in the CRM is available in every screen or in every record that you can have in the CRM. So you have the same portlet, the same tool in contacts. For example, if I take my previous contact, Matthew Brown, I'll have the same note and more option, which is add file option in my contacts. This is the same behavior in every screen. So that's how you can attach any files, any format to Genius CRM. For conversation, you can have conversation in Genius CRM between different CRM users. So conversation would be, we'll start by the inbox feature here, where you can create new conversation or follow the ones that you already have. As you can see, my user already have a conversation. I can filter simply on my conversation for my user, but I can also view the combined view where you'll find the email following feature where the CRM will be able to link those emails to your different accounts, your different users, but also to your different contacts. And so you'll have a traceability in CRM to see the different communication you've had with your different contacts by email. But for conversation, you'll see them here, and so I have one here. I could create one, and those conversation allows different users or groups of users to discuss about the subject, whether it's an objective, it's a goal, whether it's an issue, I need more information. So if I wanted to communicate with another user, which is John, from the same team, which is the West Coast team. And I'd like to ask him to have more information. So for example, dealer one questions. I'd say my dealer one wonders what products he should buy. And so we see that John from the West Coast has been added to the ones that are following this conversation. So if I log out and I log as John, I'll have notifications. So if I go, my inbox says I have one pending conversation, which is dealer one question. And so for every participant I would have indicated in my conversation, every one of them would have had a notification saying there's a conversation requiring your attention. So I can comment here, your dealer should pick the product B, for example. You can also attach files to those communications. So it's a great tool to centralize all of your communication or your different issues inside of Genius CRM. So if I log back in my Bob user, and I go to my conversations, so in my inbox, I can see here that I have John's answer. Now, if I go back just for a quick overview of how is the conversation created. So we create a conversation here. We've already set a subject and description in the previous one, but we have the more details option here that allows you to add files, but also allows you to assign accounts or opportunities. And that being done, it allows you to see those communications through those records. So if we go and if we take the dealer one question, let's edit it just to make sure we've set, for example, an opportunity. And I'll take our pipeline maintenance service opportunity and I save. This conversation will be tagged as for the pipeline maintenance service opportunity that we created just before. So if I click in my opportunity, I access it, I'll see that there's an activity. So latest activity related to this opportunity is. So that's how we can have a bit more traceability inside Genius CRM. So everything can be connected through communications, files, and the different leads, accounts, opportunities, etc. Now for tasks. Tasks works the same way as for attachments or as communication. So all of these plugins, so the task plugin, also the calendar plugin, can be accessed from any CRM records, but can also be linked to all of them. So for example, here in the opportunity, if we create a task, we have this portlet allowing us to create tasks for a specific opportunity. So if we create one, we can set again a name, a description, but we also have a more detailed option, just like for conversation. And there we can set statuses, who's the owner, due dates. We can link accounts, contacts, and opportunities again. And by linking all of those records, you'll be able to see those tasks in these records. So if I create this task, so for this opportunity, I would have as a task to call customer back to schedule a dinner. All right, so I've created this one and I can set a specific status for this task. So this one is new, but as it moves over time, I can transfer this task to be as in progress or completed, for example. So this one is new, and due date, I need to set this task before Friday. Also, the customer for this pipeline will be my customer pipeline. If I had to set a contact, so someone to call back, I could specify my contact that I have for this specific customer. So having that being done, this task will be pretty much across the different modules that I have. So now the task has been created. We have this second step where we can add more information to the task. So we can add comments and files again, but we can set a specific checklist for it. So I can close my task and I'll see that my open task for this pipeline has been created. The calendar will be pretty much the same thing and the same way to work as the task, but will allow you to create meetings so that you're up to your task, and that for specific accounts or for specific opportunities or leads, you have those meetings set up. So again, for this opportunity, I'd like to schedule a meeting. So for example, I can click one of the dates that are in my calendar and create a meeting because there's no meeting yet to this date. And the meeting could be the dinner that I wanted to set. So let's say my task has been completed and I've scheduled a meeting with the customer. I could set the meeting in my calendar just to make sure I have a reminder. Dinner with customer. I can specify a location, start date, end date, and a lot of other information if I wanted to bring more data or more information to the meeting. I can set attendees, etc. All of these forms, again, are customizable, and you can add your own custom fields if required. So if I save, I'll have created my meeting here. So for this opportunity, I have one meeting, I have one task, I can have multiple ones, it's not a matter. Take for example that for all of my opportunities, I have lots of meetings scheduled, I have lots of tasks scheduled. I need to have one single place when I can see all of my pending tasks and meeting, just so that I can better plan my week or my task, or better prioritize all of them. So if I go in home, I'll have my portlets through my dashboard that will show me every meeting that I have. So we see that first for calendar, all of my user meetings will be displayed in the same calendar. So for example, this one, there's a meeting here on the 21st, and other ones here all related to different customers. So here is Alpha Energy, and also one for the opportunity that we just created. And so that's where you'll have a pretty good overview of all of the meetings you'll have over the time. And same thing for your open tasks. These small dashboards can be added and customized. But here I've defined that I wanted all of my tasks in my open tasks. So I'll see every one of them, even if they are tagged to different opportunities or leads or accounts. So that is a great dashboard to use. and to dig from if you want to have more information. So if you click here, you'll see that that you have the basic information for your task. And so the task here is to call back the customer, and in more details, I can see that this task relates to Mark Langdon, so one of my contacts. So I can click on Mark Langdon here to access the contact and have all of its information and notes that I've taken just before my meetings. So that was it for attachments, conversations, tasks, and calendar. They are all across Genius CRM and allows you to centralize information and to access information quickly and efficiently. Now for sales monitoring, dashboards, and reports, we've pretty much seen how it behaves in terms of homepage dashboards. But if, for example, I go in Genius CRM again and I log in as a sales manager, so I'll log in as Ryan, which is a sales manager, but is the West Coast sales manager. So Ryan will see the opportunities created by my West Coast team. So we see here, homepage, we have our customized dashboards. I could create many dashboards and so have one page here for my sales progress, another page with my sales rep activities and so on. Basically what we have here is pretty much the same layout as we could have for every other users, but we can customize it to show a bit more data for sales and not that much for tasks or activities or conversations. So we see that again, we have the calendar plugin that will show us all of our meetings. Same thing for my open tasks. In my case, I don't have any of them, but I have more accurate data displayed. So I have this first KPI, which is the sales that I could have for my opportunities based on the different stages of these opportunities. I can change and configure this portlet to have the data in other ways that I would need. You could add other ones, and so you could see more data like my accounts, my leads, my open task, etc. And for data about sales, you could add opportunities by lead source, by sales stage, just like we saw here, or report charts that would show graphics based on reports. This is basic information display. If you want to go more in depth in terms of data processing, to have a better idea of and a more accurate data display, we will create reports which will be customized based on the fields you'd like to have. So you'll have static reports showing your sales progress, the number of new leads creations, qualified market lead. So for sales monitoring dashboards and reports, keep in mind that you can have many default and basic dashboard screens that will display sales information, opportunities information. And if you want to have more customized and more data display, you'll be able to create reports. Now, just to end for main features, as we've discussed, all of the forms are customizables. Same thing for workflows. So for every statuses of contacts, opportunities, etc., they are all customizable to your need. And we have some basic marketing features like email campaigns that will allow you to send emails on a specific date to your contact list or to an email list. Now for Genius CRM benefits. We've covered the main features of Genius CRM, but now how does Genius CRM integrates with Genius ERP and what are the benefits of that? First, we have a first generic benefit where there's a continuous workflow between sales and estimating or engineering. And second, there's a more appropriate and accurate quotation. So let's start with the first one for the continuous workflow between sales and estimating. First, you need to consider that Genius CRM has its own website, its own features, and Genius ERP does the same thing on its side. Where there's often a gap is when we want to share documents or we want to share information to estimators from the sales team, or from the other side when estimating want to share pricing or want to share information to sales. There's often a gap between those two tools. And with Genius CRM, there's a complete link between those two. So first, you minimize typing because from the CRM, you can automatically create accounts and create opportunities in Genius ERP. And so those accounts becomes customers and those opportunities becomes quotes. And so the salesman can create those records in Genius ERP without having anybody retyping the account form or the account record in Genius to create a customer, and same thing for the opportunity. So nobody needs to take the opportunity information and type it again in a quote to create a quotation for this customer. The sales are able to do this action quickly and autonomously. Second, the communication is way better between opportunity and quotation, and there's a direct link between those two. When we create opportunities from the CRM into Genius, there will be a direct link between those two documents, and there will be features allowing estimating or sales to share information between those documents. We're going to see in the application how it behaves. First, how to create accounts and opportunities in the ERP from the CRM. If I go back, I'll log as Bob, just to complete my example. So we've created an account. We'll see that for my account, I've specified a Genius customer code. This is exactly for this demo where I need to create this account in Genius as a customer. And so I need to specify those two fields at least. First, the customer code, which can be defined through some strategy of coding system. And we need to specify the Genius customer group. The group will allow us to specify for this account or for any account what is the currency to use, what's the tax group to use, what are the shipping modalities to use. Having that set in your customer will allow you to create that customer in Genius. So from this account, going into options, you'll be able to create customer in Genius ERP. And keep in mind that you'll need to create this account in Genius ERP if you want to create opportunities. So now the customer has been created. It doesn't prompt any window or any confirmation. The work is done in the backend. So now the customer has been assigned. If we go see in Genius ERP, we see that for the customer code that we just specified, there's a customer that's been created. So with the group that we have here, we have the currency that our group brought. Same thing for taxes. We need to specify a group because a lot of information comes from that group as a default value. And we also used the address information that we had in the ship to information from the account record. So now the customer is created in Genius, and so we'll be able to reuse that customer to create quotes, to create sales orders, etc. So if we go back in the CRM, we need to create that account before create quotes through the opportunities. So if we go see in the opportunity screen, how can we create quotes? So we access a first opportunity. We need to have our account specified in the opportunity. So the account specified in that opportunity needs to exist in Genius. So once done, we need to use the create quote in Genius button, and it's as simple as that. So when hitting that button, we're brought to Genius Web and to the quote module, where we'll be able to add more information to our quote. And so now we are in our quote, which is the quote created from the opportunity. We see that the account from the opportunity has been used as a ship to and a bill to customer. And again, we can change a lot of information in that quote. So first, we can change the different information in terms of contacts, phone numbers, expiration date, etc. Quote that's been created from the opportunity, we can directly access to the opportunity that's been used. So here we have CRM URL that is filled by Genius to give you the link to the opportunity. So if we hit the link that we have here, we'll be brought to the opportunity. And again, here in the opportunity, we'll be able to open the Genius quote that's been assigned to this opportunity by clicking the number here. And so that's how estimators could see more information about the opportunity, or how the sales rep could see more information about the quote. So that was the first point, where we've seen that you can create accounts and opportunities in the ERP without retyping information. Now, communication and direct link between opportunity and quotation. How does that behave? We saw the direct link. So we saw that there was a strong link between the opportunity and the quotation. So it's really easy for users, for sales, and for estimators to have more information about those two, and to be able to find the original documents from the CRM and from the ERP. Now for communication tool, what's interesting is that since we have a strong link between those two documents, we can put way more information in the opportunity or in the quote, and that will allow every users to access all of these informations. So for example, in the quote module, users could basically add notes to those documents so that we have additional information to those. So see opportunity, for example. And we can save that. And additionally to the document, we can add files and notes. So through our attachment plugin and notes plugin, we can add notes, we can add files, whether it's a drawing for engineering products, whether it's emails, communications, whether it's pictures or recordings that we would have that could be useful for the estimator or for the engineering engineers. We can add those files and those notes to the quotes that's been created. Same thing on the other hand, if you had more information in the opportunity, the engineering could refer to the opportunity data to create the quote or to bonify the pricing. So as we've seen, there's a lot of tools and a strong link between those two, which ease the communication between sales and estimating. As a second benefit, there's a more appropriate and accurate quotation process. Having that accurate quotation, you'll be able to have a more accurate pricing calculation available for the salesman, and same thing, you'll be able to configure product. How it behaves is that since the salesman have access to quote module, he'll be able to have a more accurate pricing. So in the quote module, what we have is that we already manage items, list price, items, commissions to use based on the sales representative. We manage discounts and so on. So from the quote module, sales rep will be able to add items or configurable products and automatically have the proper pricing for the amount of items they add and for the items that they quote to their customers. And so, for example, if we add this specific item that is in the customer price list, we'll see that every price information will be added automatically. So what is the discount for this specific customer based on the price list, the list price that we've defined in the system? What is the net price? And we can have these pricing adapted based on the quantity that we set in the system. So the sales rep will be able to do that action and have an accurate pricing to send to his customer. He can add items to his quote and then have the total pricing to send to the customer. He can do the same thing for configurable products. So a new product can be added but can be configured. So questions will be asked to the customer and a BOM will be created based on the configuration the customer wants to have. And then the sales rep can save his quote, generate the report, the PDFs for his quote, and send it to the customer. So we see here as a preview in the web that quote has been created and that we have the PDF here. So we can download the PDF, we can print it, and then we can send it to the customer. The sales rep has the power to do pretty much the whole loop of quotation and pricing for his customers without bothering with sending emails or documents and attachments to the Genius ERP estimating department. So the sales rep can do pretty much the whole loop, but he can also send all of the required information to an internal estimator since he can access to the quote module and attach the items that he wants, notes that he wants, files that he wants, everything that could be important for the estimator to have in hand to do a proper quotation. So that's how Genius CRM integrates with Genius ERP and what are the main features. So that's a whole goal of closing the loop between the sales and the information that we have in Genius ERP in terms of pricing, data access, etc. So those two tools communicate together now, and salesmen are more autonomous in terms of sales and pricing process and have a better communication and a better link with the internal Genius processes so that quotation can be done easily. Now Genius CRM is available on two platforms, which is on the desktop platform and on mobile devices. So you'll have the same information and the same features on both platforms. Salesmen on the road can access all of their accounts and opportunities from their mobile devices, tablets, or laptops, and even desktops. What to have in hand when thinking about implementing Genius CRM. There can be a bit more tasks to do or preparation to do, but the main tasks to do are first to list all of the users and their hierarchy in the CRM. First step will be to configure the CRM so that we can manage the different permissions and security. Second, have an exported data files, mainly CSV. This task applies if you migrate from another CRM to the Genius CRM. We'll be able to add all of those contacts, opportunities, leads, and accounts. We'll be able to import them in the CRM. Third is have a list of required dashboards, indicators, and reports that will allow us to configure them prior to using Genius CRM. And then at the end, define the different statuses that will be required to manage your contacts, your leads, accounts, and opportunities. So those are the main questions to wonder about before implementing Genius CRM. Now, how do we implement, or what is the main task to implement? Well, they are directly related to the preparation you've done. So first we create users, user groups, security. We configure the CRM the way you'd like it to show data. And then we import startup data, so the data that you have from your current CRM, if you have any. Then we create dashboards and reports, and then customize the different forms that we have in the CRM. How many time should be required to implement Genius CRM? It depends on your preparation. It depends on your resources availability, of course, and their preparation, but usually a few weeks are necessary to implement Genius CRM. So as a conclusion, this has been a large and a quick overview of the application. Keep in mind that we have a bit more features, but that we've not covered. But we can have workflows which can trigger record updates. We can attach emails to the CRM. So all of them only requires some configurations, which will be trainings during the Genius CRM implementations. But the main features has been shown today. So thanks for watching.